Good day, everyone. What I want to talk about today is DHCP configuration. DHCP simply means Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, and it is a protocol that provides automatic IP addressing and other information to clients, such as IP address, subnet mask, or prefix length in the case of IPv6. It also provides default gateway address and DNS server address. So it's available for both IPv4 and IPv6, but I want to talk about IPv4 today. So how do we go about it? The first thing you need to get is you configure your router. Make sure you have router and host that want to get IP address automatically from the router. Just like whenever you plug in a PC to your network, then they get IP address automatically instead of assigning it manually as we normally do. So how do we go about this? The configuration steps is just about 3 major steps, which is number 1 is exclude addresses from the pool. That is, if you are assigning IP address to host, you may need to reserve some IP addresses. Therefore, you have to exclude those addresses from the pool. Maybe those addresses you want to be assigning it to people statically, or for instance, the one you are going to assign to your default gateway or this interface on the router, you must exclude it from the pool so that it won't assign it to any host automatically. Then, and some other ones that you want to reserve. So after excluding some addresses from the pool, you set up a DHCP pool name, and then you configure some specific tags such as define range of addresses. You define the range of addresses you want the server to be allocating, maybe from 1 to 50 or 1 to 100 or 1 to 200. And the subnet mask that you want to give, if it is class A, for instance, the subnet mask 10.255.0.0.0. If it is class B, if it is class C, you know what it is. Then you use default router command for default gateway. You also let it know the default gateway to allocate to the hosts. Then optionally, you can now include some other ones, but those ones are optional, like DNS server and domain name server. All these are what we are going to look at, and the configuration is just here, from down here to this place. And if you need to remove DHCP later on your server, then you type no DHCP, no service DHCP to disable DHCP. So now let's get on to the configuration. If you need to configure this, remember the steps. This is it. 1, 2, 3. So let's get going. You go onto the router, you type, let me open up the router. What's this, so that I can have access to what I'm doing. Okay, here type no, then enable, then configure terminal. Now, what do I want to do? The first thing is I'm going to assign IP address to my default gateway, this interface, and bring it up. So how do I go about that? Come here, say interface gigabits, it is 0/0 IP address 192.168.10.1. Then subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Enter. Then no shut down. Okay, That is for the interface. The interface is done now and it is up and running. Then let's get going. Let's go back to configuration mode by typing exit. Okay, now we start our DHCP configuration. So I will type, let me type it in capsulator so that you can see it very well. IP DHCP. I can type EXC, press tab, excluded address. So I want to exclude from 10.1 to 10.9. No, I have assigned 10.1 to default gateway, so I'm going to exclude it. So I'll say 192 excluded address 192.168.10.1 space 192.168.10.9. That has been excluded. If I only need to exclude one, or if the range that I want to exclude is not in a range of, for instance, like 10.1 to 10.9, it's not sequential, then I will need to exclude it one by one, just like what we have down here. We exclude only one. So since we are not doing that, let's just continue. I'm going to say okay. The next thing is to create pool name, just as it is from the slide, that after excluding some addresses, then you set up a GCP pool name. Then I will now say IP DHCP pool. Then what's my pool name? NHS. Enter. Now I'm now in DHCP configuration mode. Then I can set up my network address. Say network. One nine two dot 168.10.0. Then the subnet mask, which is 255.255. Since this is not a subnetted IP, so I'm using the default subnet mask. Then the next thing is to set the default router. Default router simply means the IP address you assign to the default gateway. So that will be default router. The address assigned to the default gateway 192.168.10.1. Enter. Now I'm done with DHCP configuration like this, but I will need some other optional configurations like DNS server, so I can give it its IP address. I can pick from the reserved ones, 192.168.10.5. Then domain name service here, domain name IP domain dash name. I can do NHS.com. Let's see. That one is also done. Then end, copy, run, start to save. With this, we are done with the configuration. Now let's check whether our host get IP address automatically. Now you open, then you go to host, go to desktop, IP configuration. Formerly we assign IP address statically by typing it here, but this time around just click DHCP, pasting IP address successful, then it gets IP address automatically. Then we go on to the second one, Stop IP configuration, ACP. Then it gets IP address automatically. On to the third one, stop IP configuration, DHCP. Then it gets IP address automatically. Now let's confirm whether they are communicating or not. Come here, go to here, successful. So thank you very much. See you next.